Action.
Action. Okay. All right, guys. I'm here with my awesomely talented niece, Sage Sagers. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. And as you can tell, of course, she's doing the Chalk Bus mural for Chalk the Block 2018. She did it last year as well. And she gave me permission to do a little interview of her. Some questions I have just about the artistic process and what's going on. And so, Sage, can you tell us just a little bit, just to introduce people to you, like either tell them something about yourself or how you got into art in the first place?
My mom says she showed me how to draw a horse, and that's how it all started.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just because she's my mom.
Uh-huh. Even before you could remember.
Yeah.
Then, right?
Yeah, just always.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And my first horses had 5 legs, and not in the way you're thinking. They literally had 5 legs. I did
Oh, really?
5 legs.
Oh, okay. It wasn't just the 4 legs and being a male horse that's anatomically correct. They actually had 5
They
legs.
actually had 5.
Okay.
legs.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And so, with these, and so yes, as an uncle, I've been able to watch her as a little girl grow up and to see her art grow and progress. But even as a very young child, it was unusually good. It wasn't just your standard child drawing really neat artwork, which I think most children's artwork is pretty just enjoyable and fun. But I mean, it was kind of above and beyond, really. Let's be honest. And so we've always been amazed, and of course I'm biased as her uncle, but anybody who sees it, who doesn't know her, is still just as impressed as I am. But so the question I was having as I was driving down the other day for this event, I was thinking, I just wondering what it's like for you, because I don't think you can really describe the creative process to somebody. It's like trying to explain what love is or what salt tastes like or something to somebody who's never tasted salt,
This is an aspen tree because it's the way it is.
It's the way it is, right? So a lot of that is just part of it's an experience. But even if you can't explain the process itself, especially to non-artists, what you could explain maybe is just what does it feel like even just today, or in the preparation of it. What's it feel like to just art? I mean, I don't know how much of it's fun and enjoyable, how much of it's frustrating and agonizing. I mean, how would you answer that?
I guess it depends on the day.
Yeah.
Like today, I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's fun. And
yeah.
Most of the time, it is fun. It's never like agonizing.
Okay.
Sometimes it's tedious.
Tedious sometimes.
Yeah. Like if it's like for an assignment for like school or something. Yeah, it can be tedious.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, it's never.
We're distracted currently by Pepper, who likes to chase bees. So, yes, okay, all right.
It's never a pain.
Yeah. Okay, it's not like you're suffering for your art.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like you feel a need to cut off your ear or anything.
No.
Okay.
I have a particular attachment to my ear.
Yeah.
I would like to keep it. Lets me hear music,
yeah.
Which I like to listen to when I draw. And, but it's not like practicing the piano, which I never liked.
No, yeah. So that was a chore.
That was a chore.
And art isn't a chore. Yeah. So tell me about. I know last year we talked about when we were doing this Chalk the Block mural last year. We meaning you. When we were coming up with it though, and I was so blown away by the work you were doing, and it was so monumental. I mean, this is a huge project, and it's just very time consuming. And unlike other art that's very time consuming, you get to keep it.
Yeah.
Right. And you and I had a lot of conversations about that. And what are your thoughts about doing a project that's the sole purpose of it is actually to not be permanent?
Yeah, like I said last year, it's more about like living in the moment instead of trying to save it for later.
Yeah.
Like Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Oh yeah.
The photographer guy. He doesn't take a picture of the lion because he's more interested in remembering the moment than capturing the picture. And I think the chalk bus is a really good exercise for that.
Yeah.
And like especially last year, because last year I got to have more people work on it.
Oh yeah.
It was more of a fill-in, like a color by number thing.
Yeah.
Coloring book. This year's more technical.
Right.
Not everybody.
Yeah, so much more shading and
Yeah.
the subtlety and nuance.
Yeah. So, like, just because last year more people, and it was, well, I'm not going to say this year isn't fun. It is fun. But it's fun to have other people, too.
It's more interactive.
It's more interactive.
We could all engage. I could help.
Yeah.
I did a lot of coloring. Right.
Yeah.
You just told me what to do, and that was fun to be more of a part of it.
Yeah, and like all that is a collective experience.
Yeah.
And then you have the memory of it instead of just keeping it.
Yeah.
And, well, instead of trying to hold on to it, you gotta let it go, but it's in your head still.
Right. Right. I think there's a lot of value to that. And the one thing that you and I had talked about was how the Tibetan Buddhists will do those colored, intricate sand mandalas.
Yeah.
And that their part is just like you were saying, is that it's to enjoy the moment of creation for its own sake, and that it doesn't have to be anything else and doesn't have to last, and to also letting go of that attachment to that thing. And because a lot of like in Zen and Buddhism, it's a lot of suffering comes from our attachments to things.
Yeah.
And if we let go of things, or not just things, but also ideas of how things should be. So I think this is a great example, in a very beautiful artistic way of that concept.
Yeah.
So, because I think when we were first talking about it last year, it was kind of hard, the thought of letting it go.
Yeah.
Right?
It helped that it was raining.
Right. It kind of forced you to face that reality. Well, and I've told you that we've had like a lot of people in my Volkswagen community. They're like, oh my gosh, you should totally clear coat that and save it.
But the clear coat wouldn't even work because once it gets wet, it goes away because it's a dry medium.
Right. Yeah. And exactly. And the chalk isn't going to adhere well to the paint anyway, and the clear coat paint isn't going to adhere well to the chalk. And but you know. But even if I could clear coat it, it would kind of miss the whole point of, as you said, the exercise of doing something just for creation's sake and letting it go. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. What else would you say to people who are just checking this out? They say, "Oh, that's really cool," or "Oh, hold on, we got a car coming." That's some noise. Kelly, do you have any questions for Sage?
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
20 years old. Excellent.
I didn't know.
Oh.
That's true.
Most people think I'm 18.
Maybe what I'd said before, why you choose those people and you don't choose another one.
Yeah. Here's the artist statement that because in high school or any art class, they'll probably make you make an artist statement.
Oh, yeah.
I never liked the artist statements, but well, artist statements on like the assignments and stuff. I'm like, well, I did this because you told me to.
Oh.
that's the artist statement. I get the purpose of them now, especially with like this. But here goes.
Okay.
So, well, I don't know if I should lie about it, or because most of the time they are lies.
You just do whatever needs to come out.
Yeah, like I could say, oh, it's the Volkswagen, it's the car of the people, so I was gonna do some people, but that's not how it happened.
Okay.
It's in my sketchbook. It's in there. You can get it. If
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Do. Yeah. That'd be great. We'll take as Sage is doing that. I'm going to give everybody a little walk around of the progress so far. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, guys. Hi, Pep. Pepper's the official chalk bus mascot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, back to the sketchbook.
So I have this little guy,
Uh huh.
and I thought it would be cool just do that all over the bus.
Yeah.
Because, well, like last year, I did it because it's a hippie bus. You gotta give it psychedelic colors and stuff.
Right.
And I wanted to keep that going because it hasn't changed. It's still a hippie bus.
That's right.
And last year was more like fill in. This year I wanted to do something more technical.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like to draw faces.
Yeah.
So, and I was doing this with the Crayola colored pencils.
Oh, okay.
So they're not even my fancy kind.
Yeah.
They're just the basic colors.
Just
you get.
basic, yeah.
And he's not done. I don't know if I'll ever finish him.
Yeah.
That's where the idea came from, to do that on the bus. And I was, and since, and this isn't a picture I took, it's just a picture I found online.
Okay.
And the difference is with the bus, they are pictures I took. And so it's all original. And none of it's just like a copy of somebody else's work.
So these are all pictures that you have taken that you've done in your photography. Photography. Well, yeah, just whatever. But as far as snapshots that you took, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, since I don't hang out with a lot of people, they're all people in the background of my pictures from vacations.
Oh, cool.
I went through my vacation photos and I found them. And as I was doing that and thinking about how I put the faces on and stuff, I thought, oh right, it's Volkswagen, Carve the People. So
Yeah.
That's how I tied that in. So it's not like Carve the People came first and then this.
Yeah, I love that.
But if I had to like write it out on an art statement, I'd put that first. I totally lied about it if I had to write it out.
Actually, I think the truth is better. I think the truth is more interesting. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not contrived. You know, whereas if you say, well, I came up with this because it's the car, the people's car.
Yeah.
It sounds a little. I don't know. It just sounds a little bit too convenient.
Stuck up?
I don't know about stuck up. It just sounds a little. I don't know. It just sounds too obvious.
Oh yeah.
That it's almost like that started your creative process instead of whereas how it actually happened. The evolution of it really was something that just came out of you again. It wasn't inspired by the Volkswagen. Inspired by a drawing that you did a long time ago, unrelated to this.
Yeah.
Or recently. I don't know if that was a recent or.
Yeah, it's July 10th.
Yeah, and then it kind of just evolved, and I think that's so interesting, rather than because I like with the school projects, like you said, some of those were tedious or, it's more contrived because you have to. It's a have to type of thing, and then this is where so much of your art is because something inside of you just gets inspired, right? And you just have to kind of run with it, and it has kind of its own internal compulsion, right, that drives you, right? Rather than, well, it's a Volkswagen, so do something that's related to Volkswagen. It's like an external driver for your creativity.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's my view. I don't know if that resonates or not.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It made me change my mind about the light thing, because a lot of times I do lie about first. I'm like, oh yeah, I did this because this. No, I didn't.
No, I think the actual...
I did it because I wanted to. That's
right.
Why.
For me, at least, I think that's actually a more interesting answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think it has more color to it.
Oh.
Yeah, more depth and flavor to it.
Yeah, I just, because most of the art statements I've done is like for art shows, like the school art shows or the Springville art show, which I never got into. I'm not gonna I didn't get into that one. Yeah. Because I didn't really do anything for it. I just had a drawing on hand, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, put that one.
Yeah.
And dang, I lost it. It's all gone.
Well, but going back to the idea when you're saying, well, it sounds conceited or something. I would agree that some of those artist statements that I've read in different places, they do sound very pretentious. You know, and that's just not you.
Yeah.
You're just Sage. You're real. You're authentic. You're silly.
I am what I am.
You are what. Yes, you are Popeye. And I think a pretentious artist statement wouldn't reflect who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's kind of sad because like the artist statements that are expected of people are to be like totally stuck up, or not stuck up, but like deep or something. And I'm like, no, I don't have anything this deep for this picture. I drew it because I wanted to.
I drew it because I wanted to. And honestly, seriously, but think about that. I mean, that is actually a great answer on a deep level.
Oh,
I think, it's like philosophically, to not everything has to have a deep answer to be deep. Just the fact that you enjoy it because you enjoy it. I mean, look at Pepper, right?
yeah.
She's got the life, right?
Yeah.
And everybody loves Pepper, right? I mean, who doesn't love a dog? And she's got it all figured out, right? She's peaceful, she's happy. She doesn't have to, I don't think she has like deep reasons why she's doing something. She's hungry, so she's hungry,
Yeah.
right? She wants to eat, she goes eat. She wants to go sniff something that smells good or terrible, she'll go sniff it, right? And there's this old story of this old Zen story I love where this student goes to the master and he says, "Master, what is the secret to enlightenment?" And so the student's waiting for this mind blower of an answer, right? And the Zen master says, "When I'm hungry, I eat. When tired, I sleep." The student's waiting for something more and like, no, that was it. It's the secret to enlightenment. And so if you saying I drew it because I wanted to draw it,
Yeah.
that's about as Zen and basic as it comes. That's just, not everything has to have a reason,
Yeah.
And really it's very childlike too, because why does a child draw? Why? Because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
They don't have to be a good artist. Only later on in life do people say, "Oh, I can't draw. I'm not a good artist."
Yeah.
But there's no 4-year-old who would ever say that, because it doesn't matter what it looks like. They enjoyed the process, and that's what was important,
Yeah.
right? Not the product. And that's what's great about this is that at the end of the day, there will be no product. Well, at the end of the week maybe, or the end of the month, however long this lasts, right? But at some point, this product will be gone. That wasn't really the point.
Yeah. No.
That you wanted to and you enjoyed it was more than enough reason, right? Yeah.
Totally. That like reminds me. Did you ever go see Escher at BYU?
I didn't. I wished I had. What an idiot. Yeah.
Stupid Uncle John.
Stupid Uncle John. How many times have I heard that in my life?
Yeah, but like there were little statements from him, and I took a picture of a few of them
Oh, cool.
because a few of them said, like along the lines of, it irritates me when somebody tries to make this deep. I did it because I wanted to, and yeah,
Is what he said?
That's what he said.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I'll have
Yeah.
to find it real quick,
Yeah, do.
real fast.
Okay.
When did we go? Like in May sometime.
So for those of you who don't know, while she's looking that up, this is my lovely, most wonderful daughter-in-law. My favorite of all my daughter-in-laws.
Obviously. I'm the only one now.
She's from Chile,
Yes.
and she's the best person in the whole entire world.
I'm from Chile.
Yeah. All right, so what's fun of this video interview is you get to watch a 20-year-old on her phone. It's something you've probably never seen before.
Never. Never.
Unique experience. And this is such a simple interview I'm doing. I'm not going to bother editing it. I'm just going to put it up raw like this. So I don't have the time to edit it. I've got
Editing
so many other
sucks
things.
anyway.
No, what? It's great. Honestly, people will love this.
Editing sucks.
Oh, editing sucks. I thought you said the interview sucks. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a great interview.
No,
I'm like, editing sucks. It does suck. I've done enough of it that I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that is tedious.
Yeah, that is tedious. Yeah. So any of you videographers out there, one, you have
Hats
our
off.
sympathy, and hats off, yes. And also, some of you guys like that though. So I'm always amazed when people have careers and jobs that they do something that I think is horrible, and they love it. Like one guy I know who is an accountant. I thought that would probably be the most mind-numbing job on the planet. And he and I were speaking once at a job fair thing for people who are interested in different careers. And I heard him talk about accounting with the same passion and excitement that I talked about mine. And I'm like, oh. It kind of opened my eyes. I didn't know that someone could have that much passion. And his passion was he loves order and problem solving and figuring out, making order out of chaos. And he also knows, as he prepares taxes for people, to him it's an act of compassionate service. Because for a lot of people like me, taxes only cause stress and anxiety, and he has the power to remove that for me. And I think, man, what a cool thing. It's so much more to me. To me, it would just be boring numbers.
Yeah.
But to him, it was an act of joy and service.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Did you find it?
Not yet. I can't remember when we went.
Well, I only have so much space in my phone to record you on your phone.
Then we'll have to pause it for a second.
Okay. There's no pause on my recording. That means I have to then stitch two videos together, and that's called editing, Sage.
Oh, wait, I found it.
Okay, good.
Right here.
That was close.
So, this one's I didn't take a picture of the actual artwork. Way to go, Sage. What an idiot,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's right.
I'm gonna take a picture of the artist statement, but not the picture. So this was the artist statement is for encounter. I don't know what that looks like because I didn't take a picture of it.
Well, we could Google that. Somebody could, knock yourselves out, Googlers.
And it says Escher was often the last person to suggest that his prints held profound, deep meanings. He was, however, pleased that others sometimes read symbolic narratives into his work. In a letter to a friend he once wrote, "The fact that a symbol is sometimes discovered or remarked upon is valuable to me because it makes it easier to accept the inexplicable nature of my hobbies, which constantly preoccupy me." Which is pretty good. But I like that one, but that one wasn't the one where he found it annoying. The next one is, but that one's a good one too.
I love that one, the inexplicable nature of my hobbies. Right, I realized as I was starting this interview, it's like there's some of this that is unexplainable. I mean, so much of it that's unexplainable, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Was there another one you said?
Yeah, it's Scarabs. It's a wood engraving, 1935, which I also didn't take a picture of.
Okay.
But at the end it says, in most cases he avoided symbolic readings of his own work, though he found others' attempts to look for such meanings, sometimes charming and sometimes annoying.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Same.
I love that. I remember, that J.R.R. Tolkien, he kind of felt the same way. He hated when he said it. There's a great little essay he wrote about it. He says that he despises allegory. He hated when people would read in, "Oh, well, this is obviously symbolic of this Christian theme or this World War II theme or whatever else." He's like, no. He said, "I'm writing the story because it's a great mythic story, and the only real reason he wanted to do it, I mean, there's a lot of reasons he wanted to do it, but he wanted to have a great mythology for England."
Yeah.
Like the Greeks had their great mythology and things like that.
Yeah.
And so he created this great, wonderful world, this pretend, mythical world. But he didn't want it to be any obvious symbolism. I mean, people can draw their own meaning into it if they want.
Yeah.
But he didn't. That was not why he did it. So that's kind of interesting too. Yeah. So anyway, any other words of wisdom or insights or things you want to say or share?
Pastel's hard to get contrast out of.
Is it? Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know, because it's pastels.
It's pastels. Pastels.
Like, I bet if you just took a black and white picture of this, it would be like all the same shade of gray.
Really, but yeah. Do you like? Is it good to work on a black surface? Do you like working on black versus a different colored surface for the pastels?
Yeah, black would show the color.
Does that help with the contrast some, or?
It helps with like the vibrancy of the color.
Yeah.
Not so much the contrast, but the vibrancy. Yeah. And I've never seen a white chalkboard before, so.
Yeah.
Black's pretty much the only option.
I don't know if people use pastels on canvases or not, or white paper. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. So.
Oh yeah, paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, in art class we use toned paper, not so much black, but different colors. Sometimes black.
So in your 20 years in parting, then, as we wrap this up, your 20-year-old, awesome niece, friend, daughter, and sister, and artist. What would you say your life philosophy is at this stage of your life? How do you see life or approach life?
I wake up every morning and I go to the kitchen to take my meds. That bottle of meds. And that's what gets me through the day. I could go with the super emo answer and tell them that the hardest thing I do every day is waking up, which is sort of true. I don't like waking up, but if you took it like a super emo way, yeah. One time I told that to somebody, and I didn't specify whether I was joking or not. not.
Yeah.
So they probably took it the really depressed part.
So are you okay if that's on the interview that I put up?
Yeah.
So that's interesting because, of course, I'm a therapist, right? Everybody knows that, and so I'm always someone who's grateful when someone actually talks about, yeah, you know what, life's not always perfectly clean and easy, and I can struggle with depression or anxiety or things like that. Like your aunt Kara deals with depression, and she takes her meds, and she's done counseling before, and most people are surprised that she's depressed because she seems so happy and well put together and functional. And she's like, yeah, that's because I take care of my depression the way it needs to be taken care of. That's why I have a good life, So as a mental health therapist, I'm always grateful for people who are vocal about that, because that helps remove one of the biggest reasons people don't get help is because of the stigma.
Yeah.
It's not okay to have a problem. It's not okay to be depressed or anxious or deal with real life stuff. You have to have it all together, And so when I hear someone like you say that, I'm like, because everybody who sees this is going to think, oh my gosh, this is amazing. She must have it all together. And then then you end it with your life philosophies. I get up and I take my meds, and a lot of people think, well, that seems a little. Wait a minute, that doesn't kind of fit with everything else that went on. But I'm like, yeah, that does fit because that's so real life, right? Anything you want to say about that as far as?
I'm fine with talking about my meds.
Yeah.
I mean,
is it depression, anxiety, or?
It's depression.
Yeah.
But like people say there's a stigma like you did. Maybe you've had more experience with it, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Like the stigma for mental health, because like on the internet and stuff, every other person talks about taking their meds.
Well, and I think in your generation, it's definitely a lot less stigmatized than it has been.
I haven't thought about that. That's probably why.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Trust me, as a mental health professional, I'm so glad to hear that to you doesn't seem like a stigmatizing thing.
Yeah.
That to me is one of probably the best things I've heard all day, because that's one of the hugest barriers I have to helping people. It's not teaching them skills or helping them through their problems. That part can be difficult, but that's the easiest part for me. It's getting people past the fear of getting help, the fear of looking weak, like there's something wrong with me that I have this.
Yeah.
And getting past those barriers of stigma and misinformation and misunderstandings and myths about mental health issues is the hardest part. But once we get past that, then we can just focus on treatment and figuring out how to manage it better, whether it's through medication or counseling or both or other means or whatever, so that people can function and get on with their life and do amazing things with their lives, So that actually is really cool that we have those two different perspectives. You're like, okay, that's interesting, Uncle John, but I haven't dealt with stigma as an issue. I'm like, that's all that I've dealt with, and my generation and above is the stigma. Yeah. So that's actually like really cool news. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for this interview.
Yeah.
All right. Love you.
Love you too.
You better. Okay. Bye.